P'rashat Shoftim, Tafshin Pei Hey. I'm going to speak about, I'm not going to get to the Eglah Rufa, so I'm going to the end of the Parsha. And we're going to review some psukim and see what leads a person to what the Torah describes here. So let's start directly with the psukim. Torah starts by saying, Ki yimatzeh. When you'll find. What do you mean when you'll find? If you find. If by occurrence. Ki yikrei kansi lefanecha. When the Torah speaks about the Shiruach HaKen, the Torah said, maybe you're going to find a nest of birds. But here the Torah seems to assure you that one day we'll come across a body. We come across someone that got killed. How is it possible? Ki yimatzei chalal. He doesn't say harug, a killed person, not nirtzach, chalal, empty. Chalal means emptiness. Ba'adama, not ba'aretz this time, not in anything. Ba'adama. What do you mean? Was he buried? What are you trying to tell me? Asher, look at the extension of the pasuk here, the Loshen. Asher Hashem Eloikecha noisen lecha lerishta. Oof. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Could have done without it in this pasuk. If you want to talk, it's a mitzvah that's in Eretz Yisrael, fine. But what you're telling me here, what we know, basically, it's not true. Every time that HaKadosh Baruch Hu speaks about giving us the land, it's im bechukei saiteleichu. If you listen, look what happened in the Churban Beis Hamikdash. They didn't hear, they got banished from Eretz Yisrael. So it's not Hashem Eloikecha noisen lecha gave it to you, lerishta, to inherit it. No, it's not the Yerusha Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael is daily work to be zoiche, to remain on it. It's not something that we can guarantee a future on. So why is the pasuk coming Asher Hashem Eloikecha noisen lecha lerishta? And by the way, the dead guy, supposedly, the Nirtzach, is not buried. He's noifel basade. He was standing up. He waited for you to come to see him. And when you come see him, boom, he falls. Now, it's not ba'adama anymore. It's basade. Ki yimatzei, it's a Lashon past. Noifel basade, it's a present. How can it be noifel basade with the present tense? Maybe he was there already for 2 weeks. Maybe he was there for 3 days. But it's definitely not now. He got killed. It's always going to be in the past because you come and only see a cadaver. Loi noida mi hiko. We don't know who killed him. Obviously, because we only found a body. What are you trying to add with this? If you're telling me you don't know who the killer is, you're basically hinting that you know something else. The only thing we don't know is who killed him. So what else do you know? What is the pasuk trying to hint me here? But the $1 million question is, how Ben Israel? How a Ben Israel? We're talking about that time already. It's not today's time. You know, it's no mafia and things like this. How a person can erase a tselem Eloikim for his own emotions? What happened that person, what led that person to become a Roitzeach? How can a person, because had he known earlier, I'm sure he would have never wanted to go to that extent. So it's because he didn't know. So what led him there? And that's the part today's share I want to focus on, because the outcome is already too late. So I know this Shabbos we're not going to have share, nobody's here, but I would have spoken about the side of the Egla Rufa and what it means that they have to come from Yerushalayim, so he was all the way up north in Sidon, in Zevulun. Then they had to travel all the way there. Then they had to travel all the way south to Nachal Esan. Then kill the Egla Rufa. Then, go back home. And with the Kohanim, well, what is this whole process? What do we have to go, through a process that she can only be killed, the Egla Rufa in Nachal Esan, and why only the Sanhedrin had to come, and why do they have to travel all the way? They can't do everything at the same place. And who says that because they had to measure, and the closest city is the city that has to bring the Egla Rufa? Why? Maybe the murderer is from the furthest city, not from that city. And maybe he's just a journeyer, and he's not even from the Vulun. So how do we know? Because when the Torah tells us things, it's tremendous yesod. I mean, the Torah knows exactly how to make things happen. How does, understandably, thing like bringing a Sanhedrin or bringing the Kohanim will make the Roitzeach appear. How are we going to find out? But again, this is going to be for another time. Here I'm going to focus what leads a person to commit a crime, killing another Jew, on which it says, Sheifech dam ha'adam, explained Ari HaKadosh, the one who spills the blood of another person. So it touches Sheifech dam ha'adam. The killed person is Adam, is named Adam. Ba'adam damo yishafeh. They will come back in Gilgul. He cannot go up. They will come back in Gilgul, and the Nirtzach will kill the Roitzeach. The killed will kill his killer. And this is justice. This is justice. So this person that has no tshuva, no kapara, no nothing, how does he get into a situation where he's going to lose his olam haba, he's going to lose his olam hazeh, he's going to lose everything? How is it possible? Dari HaKodesh and Shimshon Mostropoli have a similar question about a puzzle. The Torah tells us, Ki yipale mimcha davar, when it's going to be above you, you won't understand it. It's too complicated and you don't see through. So, Ki yipale mimcha davar la mishpat. Comes a din to you and it's above your comprehension. Ben dam le dam, between bloods. Ben din le din, between dinings. Ben nega la nega, and between also plagues, like the negaim, the tsaras. Divrei rivois bisharecha, that create. Divrei means speaking of fights in your gates. Then you will have to go to the Sanhedrin in Yerushalayim, and they will tell you what's the halach. They both ask the same question. Why do you have to go into explaining the different mishpat. Once you say mishpat, anything you don't know, go to Yerushalayim. You could have saved half the pasuk. Why? What does he mean? Ben dam le dam. If it's a matter of blood, it means includes nida, includes life, includes hurting someone, so forth. Ben din le din. Okay, choshen mishpat. I understand. Ben nega la nega. Kedusha and Tyra. Okay, you included everything. So why did you say la mishpat? If you say la mishpat, everything is included. So why mentioning all of them here? Explains beautiful theories. The Pshimshin Mostropoli, the Chusi Yagan Aleinu. In Midrash Tehillim, he brings a Midrash Tehillim that at the time of the Chorban Beis Hamikdash, the Malachim asked 3 questions, 3 tainas to HaKadosh Baruch. The first one, it says in the Torah, which you ordered the Bnei Yisrael, that whenever they are shechting a chaya, a wild animal, a deer, anything like this, or any bird, when you spill the blood on the ground, there's a mitzvah, and you have to say a bracha in order and cover the blood. But when the Goyim came into Yerushalayim, they didn't even bury them. They didn't cover the blood. How is it possible that you're not acting with them mida b'mida? Says in the pasuk in Tehillim, Shavchu damam kamayim. They spilled the blood like water, Sviva is Yerushalayim, around Yerushalayim, ve'en kover. And there was no one to bury them. They were left to rot to an animal's wild animal to feed off the flesh. That was one time. Second taina, there's a mitzvah in the Torah, oisoi ve'es benoi, a mother and the baby, you're not allowed to shech on the same day. And Bnei Yisrael will mekayim that mitzvah. But the Gemara in Gittin, Nun Zayin Amud Beis, brings down the Ma'aseh of Chana and her 7 children, that they were killed, within one after another, starting by the children, the oldest to the 7th to the smallest, and then Chana. How is it possible that such a terrible thing happened? That's the second time. The third one is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Even in Negaim, you've been caring about the money of the Jews. Because when the Kohen used to come, he was called to look at a nega on a wall of the house. Before the Kohen would paskin, he used to tell them, empty out the house. Why? Because the tumah can only be chal once the Kohen says his stomach. So before he said so, he was instructing the owner, please take everything out of the house, because anything that remains in the house will become tumah. And then they had to be burned, destroyed, and so forth. But Bnei Yisrael, at the time of the Chorban, the Gemara says in Gittin also in Nun Vav Amud Aleph that with Martha, I can't remember her name, Bas Baisois, I think it's her name, Martha, she was extremely rich, and she could not find a loaf of bread to buy with her money. So she started throwing her money and her gold outside. And they added that in the Midrash, Chazal tell us that when Bnei Yisrael came out of Egypt and the Canaanim heard that they were taking that direction because they wanted to inherit Eretz Canaan, what they've done, they burnt the fields, all the crops, they destroyed, they cut off all the fruit trees, They said, if the Jews come here, now they're going to find a bare land. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, I promised Abraham that I'm going to bring them in a land of plenty food. So how can I bring the Bnei Yisrael? Because of them, the Bnei Yisrael had to remain in the Midbar for 40 years. You see how much HaKadosh Baruch Hu was caring about the money of the Jews. Why not at the time of Korban? That's the 3 times the Malachim told HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu asked them, he answered them with a question. He told them, tell me, is there shalom amongst the Jews? They said no. The Baruch Hu answered, if there's no shalom, there's none. Don't wonder about psukim, about halachas that you want to apply. Torah only starts after there is shalom, not before shalom. All what you've been talking about is only if it's preceded by shalom. But Ben Shimshon explained, with this we can understand the pasuk. This pasuk refers to the Taina of the Malachim, ben dam le dam. What's the difference? If you don't understand the difference between the dam chaya and the dam of a Jew, why one was covered and the other one remained uncovered, or ben din le din, that they were not allowed to shecht on the same day a mother and his son and his baby, but the Bnei Yisrael were killed, parents and children together. Ben nega la nega. If you don't understand why at the time of Korban, when Bnei Yisrael were residing in Eretz Yisrael, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu cared about their money, but at the time of the Korban, he did not care about their money. He says, divrei rivois. When you read Reb Shimshon, it seems so obvious what the pasuk say. So how did we not see it? Divrei rivois mean you're not really yet fighting, but you are saying diburim of machloikes. They're going to lead to a machloikes. Only this is enough to erase all the haftaches of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When there's divrei rivois bisharecha in your gates, it's over. The Ari HaKadosh says a little bit differently. He says that when there are fights, period, and he doesn't say period him like this, he says when there's a lack of shalom amongst the Bnei Yisrael, then you need to go to Yerushalayim, not to ask the Sanhedrin, as I explained before, which is the pashtus of the pasuk. However, vekamta ve'alisa el hamakim, because in Shir HaShirim, David HaMelech teaches, what's Yerushalayim? Ir shechubra la yachdav. It's, and Chazal touch here, a city where everyone was becoming a friend. They were all getting beyichud. Something was in Yerushalayim, maybe with the Beis Hamikdash and everything, that everything was coming, was harmonious, and people were beshalom and loving and everything. Let me copy, I didn't copy this pasuk there, but let me copy it a second. Okay, now let's go here. Share. This is the pasuk I mentioned from the Ari HaKadosh that touches up. Ki pale mimcha davar, from the Lashon Pele. You won't know it's too extraordinary for you. La mishpat. Ben dam le dam, ben din le din, ben nega la nega. La mishpat includes all of this already. Divrei revoice. This is where I'm going to focus. What's this revoice? When you look at this word, first of all, it's missing a vowel. So I know right away the Torah one speaks to me right here. If I'm taking this word and I rearrange it, I get the word bris. The whole bris that we have to get Eretz Yisrael is depending on shalom. When there's no shalom, there is nothing. Because in Yerushalayim, there was the Beis Hamikdash. In the Beis Hamikdash, there was the Yichud Yud Kei Vav Kei, Kudsha Berichu, with the Shechina. And we know that when we're going to multiply Yud by Aleph, Hey by Dalet, Vav by Nun, Hey by Yud equals 380. 380 says the Ari HaKadosh equals Shalom plus the 4 letters. Because there are 380 tzinoros that produce Shefa and send it down to this world. And the 380, when someone is not Beshalom, the 380 are not. There's no more Shefa. So a person goes into the Choshech. He goes into Mitzrayim. Means Mitzarim, Mitzrayim. This is the concept. I didn't say he's going to Egypt. You can say here, Meitzer. He suffers himself. Don't you think? Remember Moshe Rabbeinu in the Sefer HaChinuch brings down there's two Isurim. The Isur to start a Machlokes, but there's an Isur also to be Machzik the Machlokes. Moshe Rabbeinu, when Korach started with him, he went directly to Dasan V'Aviram. He went to Korach to show that he was not Machzik the Machlokes. So it's both sides. And you're going to see what I mean here. By both sides are going to get punished by this. And even a person, we all know this pasuk by heart. Sumera va'asetoy. And everybody rubs any shmuz they want on this. Now, finish the pasuk if you want to understand the chapter. Sumera va'asetoy. Bake shalom verotfei. You want to make tshuva. You want to be at the level where you want HaKadosh Baruch Hu to give you a second chance. But no problem. But Bake Shalom. Are you Beshalom? You're not Beshalom. Then the Shem of Hashem and the Shem of the Shechina cannot be in you. You're back in Mitzvah. So, and we not even, the Pasuk added a word. If you pay attention, the Pasuk didn't say revoice. It says divrei revoice. Only diburim, it hasn't escalated yet to a full-fledged machlokes. It's only divrei revoice. Look how amazing this is. This equals 828. Equals 2 times or and Soif. Both litigants, though the two that are in the fight, if you think, no, he started, and this guy thinks, I'm MS, I have to start with him, and I have to do this, he doesn't realize everyone that goes into a machlokes thinks he does it for the right cause. Though there is no reason whatsoever HaKadosh Baruch Hu will accept a machlokes. But there's a MS, and he thinks it. No. Once a person starts envying, start hating the midas of Esau, because these are the beginning, he start to be chomed. He jealouses what the other one has. At that point, stop. He's off the cliff already. And he's about, so he's not in Ur and Soif, he's in Das Bilam. Yeah, Bilam tells him you're completely right. Yeah, 100% right. You should keep on your way. And this is where the problem is. Because now, there's no more Ur and Soif. What do they have? Choshev. And let them be and grabbing the Choshev. And that's, again, I'm stressing that point. This is not crossing the line into a machlokes. It's the introduction to a machlokes. And already at that time, the Ur and Soif left this person. These people. The Ramban says that Kisikrav el ir lehilachem aleya. Even, well, we had to go, you know the halacha. When we besieged a city, we don't act like going, that we siege it from all four sides. No, only three sides. Why? Because we allow people or women and children, if they want to flee from the city, they should be able to flee safely. So we only surround the city on three sides. And prior to do this, we have to send emissaries already to check if they want to make shalom. Then we're not allowed to kill them. Why? Because the Shimon ben Gamliel said in Pirkei Avos, Al shloisha dvarim ha'olam oimed, on three things the olam stands. Hadin, that there should be din. And this is the derivative from the beginning of the parsha this week. Shoftim v'shoitrim titen lecha bechol she'arecha. It's a mitzvah aseh min ha'Torah to have a beis din bechol plach ulplach, in every shtetl. That's the din, the emes and the shalom. And I'm going to show you when HaKadosh Baruch Hu said his answer to the malachim, im en shalom en klum, the kavana behind it means everything, every other midah is included in shalom. So when we say din, emes, and shalom, it's basically the midas of shalom that are described here. It says in the pasuk, just for your eyes to see, I'm going to copy it also. I'm going to copy two of them. So we have this one and the next one. Let's go here. So we have the first pasuk, emes umishpat, shalom shiftu b'sharechem. You see the grammatical error here. It's huge. first word, then you say u, connected to the first one with a vav. But the third one doesn't have a vav. He should have said emes umishpat ve'shalom shiftu b'sha'arecha. It says no, emes umishpat shalom shiftu b'sha'arecha. You always have to be shofet, to judge with the intent only to bring shalom. It's not three different midos. It's two midos, emes and mishpat. And this is an adjective now this time, shalom. To tell you how to be shofet, how to judge, it has to be with the intent of bringing shalom. In the second pasuk, it also has a grammatical error. Veha emes, veha shalom. What do you mean veha emes? If you want to say with the hey idea, because there's only one emes, ha emes. Veha shalom. Because there's only one shalom. Ehavu, you should love. In other words, you should pursue. But veha emes, veha shalom, this is very heavy. So now we have a mitzvah here, the emes and shalom ehavu. I'm going back to my divrei revoice here. And you're going to see how it can be just by chance this happens. This is exactly ha-emes, ha-shalom. So what do you do with divrei revoice? You remove from yourself the emes and you remove also the shalom. Exactly as we said before, someone who starts a machlekes, even though it was not consumed yet, you're not in a proper machlekes, but you're starting having ill feeling towards someone, at that point it's called divrei revoice. It's the answer that's no longer there. And you think in your head, you have all these calculations that you rationalize that you're right. Torah says, I'm sorry. You kicked out the door, emes and shalom. You are wrong. You can't touch those meters. Since those meters were touched, you already passed the threshold. You passed the border, and that person is liable. Now, that's good in one puzzle, but now, why veha emes? What is the Torah trying to hint us here with this grammatical error? This equals to 839. When you have emes, you have true Torah, and you attach to Eitz Chaim. Only when you have. So when I said derech eretz kadma la Torah, it's not a simple not anymore politeness. It means there are midas that are required in order to be able to learn Torah. The rest, it's not Torah. But some people learn, it's definitely not Torah. And they're not attached to Eitz Chaim. It's a mothers, because someone who can bring a discord, a period among Am Yisrael is definitely in that category. And he doesn't stop. I mean, it's going to be his path. The Satan won't let him. And that's why I should go, if I want to push it. This is where he falls. Now, if he had emes and shalom, he would be in Torah and Eitz Chaim. Now that he kicked it out, he is in Satan and the Lily, the two nechashim. We see clearly this is a prelude to the Retzicha. This guy It didn't happen in a vacuum. Someone killed someone else. It happened because he followed certain path. And that path is very clearly what we mentioned, divrei rivos. Why did this happen? We will also unveil that. But it's very interesting that it comes out very clear. The pasuk actually made few remazim, a few hints with grammatical errors. Very interesting. The Zohar HaKadosh in Vayikra says, brings the pasuk in Ma'aseh Bereshis that at the beginning, Kadosh Baruch Hu said, "Vayomer Elokim yehi rakia b'seich hamayim." There should be a rakia in the mind. Rabbi Yehuda came to explain this pasuk and says, if there was no rakia between the lower waters and upper waters, there would constantly be in a machlokes. The only reason that they both got accepted the fate, especially the mind tachtonim that now they used to be up there, now they're down below. The only reason is because of the rakia. The rakia came and brought shalom. And says the Zohar, the world can only be miskayim on shalom. And kutsha berichu, the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is shalom. So basically, we see that shalom is not a midah. It's basically a formula had to bring HaKadosh Baruch Hu to reside with us. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who's completely light, automatically no choshech can approach the Bnei Yisrael. That's the intent here of the Zohar HaKadosh. Emes is emes. It's a midah. It's an attribute. It's a whatever adjective you want to give it. However, shalom is not the midah. It's not being at peace with your neighbor. Is being in a relationship in which HaKadosh Baruch Hu won't have any problem to reside between you. Wow, this is another level. This doesn't come say, okay, I'm not fighting with him. No, this is not enough. Because then HaKadosh Baruch Hu cannot reside between you guys. Because this is not a true shalom. There's really hatred amongst them. And therefore, there's no way HaKadosh Baruch Hu will be residing. And then he explains also that there was a machlokes between the chasadim, the right side of the tree, with the left side of the tree, which are the gvuros. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu also with his name, he made peace between them. In other words, HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not reside in a place of a machlokes. He only resides in a place where there is shalom. In other words, not touched according to the Zohar, meaning a place that he could himself, reside, because shalom is his name. I'm going to show you something that you know already. We know that in the Gvuros, we have the name Elohim. Haran, that Yaakov went to 3 times Elohim, and so forth. Elohim is the dinim. But we know from Kaddish, we know from Shchita, that as soon as you add him, Yud Ke Vav Ke, boom, the dinim come down. The Rachmim, which is in the middle, is on the right. Sorry, The Chasadim are on the right, the Rachamim in the middle, and the Gvuros on the left. Those who are not familiar with this, just very quickly, since I have it right here, you see Chesed, you see Gvura, right, left. And here you see Tiferes, Yud Ke Vav Ke, Kel, Yud Ke Vav Ke, Eloiki. This is how we define those three lines by the name that are in these 3 meters, which represent Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, the Chagat. Okay? So now, Hashem Elohim equals 112. Now he reminds us of Yaakov Avinu, because this is Yaboik. This is the name that Yaakov Avinu used to overpower the Malach of Esau. So we see that the Shalom, what it does, it enables the person to have indeed the name Yudke Vavke with him. So even if he has sorrows, even if he is not the best Jew, still this tempers the dinim, and he still has the Yerusha of Yaakov Avinu, which is Yabud. Now, a person is mandated to be mekabel all malchus shamayim 3 times a day. He says, Hashem echad, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem echad. No, it's not this one. It's to be meyached. Sorry, echad u'shemo echad. 3 times. When we mekabel all malchus shamayim in Kriyat Shema, what do? We say Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem echad. The side in this is Hashem echad, kucha berichu, which is za, is 1. Ushmoi echad, every time we say shmoi, is the malchus. The same way Yud Ke Vav Ke is a 1 unit, you cannot separate the vav, the hey from the vav. Ushmoi echad. This equals to 404. And this you know too. These are the clippers. It's very simple. It doesn't work as a punishment. It works as physics. If you don't have light in your house, it's dark. If you are not meyached, the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, or you dissociated the name because of a period, divrei rivois and machloikes, then it's trouble. Because right away, you enable these 3 klipos to enter, and they're bad. And they're bad. There is another side in there, but it's not for this year. I'm going to keep on explaining. There's a Zohar in Pashas Korach. The Zohar described Vayikach Korach, every Mefarish asked, what did he take? The pasuk doesn't read it. Zohar says he took the machlokes. What his lot, Korach was already a very, very, the most important of the Levim. He was also in the Sanhedrin. So he was on the top there, but he was not the top. So he chose that the path he's going to use to reach his goal is machlokes. Say the Zohar, the one that takes that path will be lost from the world, will disappear from this world. A person who's trying to overpower, he only rules, or he only, rules is the best word, over others because he is a nasty and he uses means of machloikas, belittling anyone that is trying to chop heads. This person will disappear from the world. Because one who makes a machloikes on shalom is trying to split the shalom, is making a machloikes on the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is shalom, and is trying to remove the hay from the vav. So what's going to happen, since we only live as long as we have the Yudke Vavke with us? So the same way he wanted to do a split in the Yudke Vavke, the split is done on his Yudke Vavke, and he is disappearing from this world. To crystallize his words, I want to show you two things. If we take the word machloikes, this equals to 584. Where is the machloikes originating from? What's the source of this machloikes? Biglal kin'a vesin. The midas of Esau. When a person gets into a machloikes, the first thing he has to know that he crossed the boundary, he crossed the frontier, and now he is in the territory of Esau. And he's using Esau's tool in order to basically overpower, undermine, whatever word you want to use, another Jew. Shalom equal Esau. And you'll see why. I'm going to explain why. I'm not going to explain it now. But if we take Shalom in full, Shin, Lamed, Vav, Mem, this equals 536. Equals Av, Sar, Ma, Ben, all the shemes of the Chachma that we know, Kasa, Kamal. This is how much period he has done. There's no kana. 536, when he takes Shalom, this is what the oir he has, a person received, from the Chachma and from the Bina, is the Yud K. On the other hand, we learn that someone who breaches the Shalom, these are the name that he desecrates, and therefore he has no more Shefa, no more protection from the Chachma or the Bina. Very simple. And the Zohar keeps on in there in Pashas Korach and says, the world only stands on Shalom. The Mishnah says, Ala Din, Vala Emes, Vala Shalom. As I explained before, Emes and we'll see that Din and Emes are included in Shalom. Zohar says, as a proof, look, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world could not stand until he installed the Shalom amongst them. And what is the Shalom? It's Shabbos. Bring shalom to every day, got its sustenance from Shabbos. Everything lives through the Shefa of Shabbos. So now every Birya, every creature has received its chelek from Shabbos. Everybody is at peace. Now I'm going to go back with this to what I said. Esau equals 376 like Shalom. How can Esau, who's the antithesis of Shalom, have the same gematria as Shalom? How does it make sense? I'm going to show you a pasuk, and from that pasuk, we're going to learn exactly what it is. It says here, let me copy it in a clean place. Vayaras Esav likrosu. Esav ran towards Yaakov when he met him when he was coming back from Haran, from Lavan. In Pashas Vayishlach Vayichabekehu, he embraced him. Vayipoel tzavarav. This is a lashon that he's crying on his shoulder. Vayishakehu. He kissed him. Vayivku. So you see that, in truth, Esav loved Yaakov. But in the Gemara, Omer Rav Shimon ben Yochai, Halacha Esav soine leYaakov, that Esav hates Yaakov. So what happened there? He was able at that time to see where Yaakov's way leads and where his way leads. But it was too late for him. He could not change. But in truth, Esau doesn't like Shalom. That's why David HaMelech says, Rabba Shachnala Nafshi im soinei Shalom. Says Reb Shem Bar Yochai, who is the soinei Shalom? It's Esau. Very good. Let's see what it is. What does Esau in the belly? This equals 734. And it's just huge. Yud Ke Vav Ke Valab Ke Ye Tana. Unbelievable, this he reneges. Someone who's soine shalom is a kofer. There's nothing in this world or in Hashem that he believes in. He does everything. When the Vinnegan, we brought him a few weeks ago in Evans that say that someone who has no bitachon is Torah and his gemilas chasadim are all for him in order to make himself important. You know, I still had a little thing in the mind that bugged me about this. But once I saw this, I understood. Yudke Vavke Bepashut, and all the miluim of Yudke Vavke, all the shemis of the Chod. Keye in Pashut, and all the miluim of Keye. That's what he reneges. The Yudke, there's nothing he can do. This one has no more place in this world. Why? The difference between a Jew and a Goy, it's his neshama. Right? We have a neshama, which is chelek Eloika Mimal. It's a sparkle of HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. And automatically, where HaKadosh Baruch Hu cannot be, the neshama cannot be. This, the neshama equal 395 equals Ahava Shalom. That's the only place it can be. That tells you also where HaKadosh Baruch Hu can be. So a person now, you see the ravine between the huge now crater you have between a machlokes and shalom. It's not a small thing. None of the shemis of HaKadosh Baruch Hu can reside. Keep on praying. Keep on doing anything you want. It's nobody's on the other side to hear it. Why? Because you have a filthy mouth. You are divrei revoice. With your mouth, you always, spew words that can lead to a machlokes. And therefore, you have no Ahava Shalom, you are no Neshama, you're not an Adam, you're Ben Adam, and like a Goy, and you have, this is how you live. And that's the T'nai Yaakov Avinu made with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Veshafti b'shalom. We all translate, I need to return in peace. No. I shall have the zchus to always stick to the midah of shalom and not have chas v'shalom the midah of Esav and come back because I lived by Lavan. I learned his deeds from his deeds, and I'm becoming like Esav with looking for machlokes. The Gemara in Gittin, today I'm reading Gittin, huh? The Gemara in Gittin brings a story. There was this couple that every Erev Shabbos they used to fight. It used to start Friday afternoon. We know there's a Ruach Ra that comes up on Friday afternoon because we are stressed. It's almost Shabbos. And this is a Teichacha Megula, a clear, uncovered Teichacha to the people that get ready at the last minute for Shabbos. They open the door to that klipa, and there's always fight to realize in their house that start Friday afternoon. Shabbos needs to be prepared way before. Chazal made the takana, Ezra made the takana to prepare the chalosh Monday morning. Prepare them Thursday. The table should be set up already before Friday comes in. The shulchan of Shabbos should be ready, you hear me, before the end of the fifth day, before the end of Thursday. Al pi Kabbalah, that's the time the shulchan should be ready. Chazal came out here. Why? All this to avoid from the person tzares. Chazal didn't make takanas to burden us. They made takanas in contrary to help us. And in these takanas, so this couple were fighting, and Rabbi Meir happened to go to that city. When he saw that, he says, it can't be. He remained there 3 weeks, and for 3 Fridays he went there and make sure there was no fight. And the Gemara says he took out that person from his house. Explains Rashi what it means. He took the Yetzer Hara that was there, that was creating a fight among them, he took him out of their house. Explain the Ben Ish Chai on this Maaseh. Why did Rabbi Meir need 3 Shabbosim? Because every fight comes from one source, the kas, the worst of the midas. Having kas or doing Avodah Zarah is equal. So do whatever you want. He says, because kas, a person is, gets angry, ma'ale asham. You can see smoke coming out of him. He's so angry because he's so righteous about what he does, and how the other guys dares do that to him with a capital H, a capital I, a major capital M. Him. That's, it's unbearable. There's no room in him that he can't take this. He doesn't realize. He's just a walking bathroom. He's nobody so big. He's nothing so special. And he's only here as a tourist, just like the other. So he needs to calm down. That's what it says in the Pasuk. Allah Ashan be'apoy. When a person gets angry, the Ashan comes through his nose. Explains the Ben Ish Chai. What is Ashan? Ashan is a Rashi Tevis, as it says in Sefer Yetzirah. Ayin Akrab. Shin Saraf. Nun Nachash. The 3 always that are on the breeze. The one that Moshe Rabbeinu was scared in the Midbar, they were Nachash, Saraf, Akrab in Parshas Devarim. And these are the clippers that come and they have the right to inhabit that person. Every ounce of Kedusha has left, and he is left to deal with the worst of the dogs. I don't want to expand on this because I should give a share just on the kas. It's such a bad midah that people should run away. As now we understand the machloikes, but the kas is not as difficult as machloikes because it's something that if you change your perception of yourself, automatically you will have never any kas. So it's very easy to manage. It's just a concept. On the machloikes, David HaMelech gave us the recipe, which is Bake Shalom Verotfei. I want to show you this, and I'm going to finish on that. Did I bring this parcel? I'm sure I copied it. I guess not. I'm just going to focus on the end of the parcel. Bakesh Shalom Verod Fei. Okay. What is Bake Shalom Verotfei? You have to seek it and pursue it. But what means pursue it? You already seek it. How, if you run after Shalom, how can you make Shalom? This equals 1,000 79. This equals to the midos erech apayim derav chesed v'emes. Now you see that emes is in shalom, because by seeking shalom, you're having automatically the emes that comes. On top of this, you deserve in Shamayim, I think it's you deserve erech af. Even if someone supposed to have a oynesh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is marich af with the person to give him a chance to do tshuva. That's what happens. But that's only if you seek, but we need to understand what it means to seek the shalom. Another aspect to it, it says the 5 times it says oyer. It says oyer in Ma'aseh Bereshis. The first time it says oyer. Yehi oyer by he oyer. Second time oyer. By Yoim Elokim la oyer. You call it la or Yoim. After that it says ha oyer. And after that, it says against ha'or. This equals to 1070. It's a very well-known number. When you take Yisrael in full, Yud, Shin, Reish, Aleph, Lamed, equal exactly 1070. That's the kli that Bnei Yisrael are. So we understand it's for the Or and Soit. And these guys have lost the Or and Soit. Now, if you take the kollel of every Or, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can see 1080 means with the kollel. When I tell you he's into a total choshech, if you don't believe it through the Nachash, Sarah, Ve'akrav, you will believe it through this. But there is another aspect too. Equals Moshe Rabbeinu. We all say if we had Moshe Rabbeinu in this generation, when a person seeks Shalom and really is after Shalom, Moshe Rabbeinu at Kiyavoi Shiloi. And we know it's going to be Moshe because Shiloi equals Moshe. Means from all the time of the world, if someone wants to have the oil and wants to have Das Moshe Rabbeinu, he has no choice but running after Shalom. Veroit Fehu, I would explain it like the Gemara in Gittin, saying the Satan, when he comes and gives you idea, chase him out of your house. Don't just brush him off. Don't just keep on going like if nothing happens. No, you have to brush him totally out of... And that, because a person, the next stage, that's why Chazal said, Lo Yisach Moed includes all the 10 commandments. The last one, what it means, he includes. Now I understand myself even a lot better. And because you're going to renege all the 10 commandments. That's why it says, Chazal say in the Midrash states, include all the 10 commandments. A person, this Reitzeyach, how did he not think? Don't ask question from the light and try to answers to the darkness. The darkness has its own logic, but it's the darkness. Now you can differentiate what is what, where is light, where is darkness. To tell you how important it is, I'm going to tell you a story brought down in the Zohar. I wanted to finish by, why? Let me give you a story in the Zohar. Rabbi Chia and Rabbi Yosef, they were traveling. They saw a person. And they saw that he had his talis on him, but he had also his weapons under. So Rabbi Chia said, one of the two. Either he's a complete tzaddik, that's why he comes with his talis on him, or he's a faker, and he only tries to trick the people. So Rabbi Yosef said, how can you say such a thing? You have to be done lekavschus. And a person, when he goes on his way, we learned it from Yaakov Avinu, he has to get ready for three things. Present, milchama, and tefillah. Exactly as when Yaakov hit the road. And since that person travels alone, he put the talis on him for the tefillah. He had his weapon on him in case some bad encounters. And he has probably on him something in case, he can buy out his shalom. People come and when aggressive say, look, I have money, just take it and leave me alone. When they approached him, they say to him, so Rabbi Chia agreed, and he said shalom to him, but he didn't answer them. So Rabbi Chia turned to Rabbi Yosef and said, you see, I was right. He's one of the two. Because if he did not even say shalom, it's an obligation to say shalom aleichem from someone who comes from the way. I won't have time to go in. I'm stopping right there. I just want to give you that story because there's a different aspect to it here. So Yosef said, no, what do you say? He didn't answer. He's not polite. He didn't give the duram, the present. So he did not get ready for the way, like Yaakov Avinu. He says, maybe he was davening, or maybe he was repeating his Torah, his learning, so he doesn't forget. After that, they went on their way, Rabbi Chia and Rabbi Yosef, and they sat down and they started learning Torah. When that person saw that they're learning Torah, he approached them and he says shalom to them. So he asked them, Rabbi Isai, what were you chesed me when, I didn't answer your shalom? Rabbi Yosef said, maybe you were davening or maybe you were chazering, you're learning. So he said, the same way you were done, lekavschus, HaKadosh Baruch Hu should done you lekavschus. But I'm telling you the truth. One day, I was on my way, I was traveling, and I saw a person, because there's an Indian to say shalom first, so I told him shalom first. And that guy was a bandit. And he jumped at me, and he pained me, and he beat me, and it was mamish a miracle that I was able to overpower him. From that day, I said, I will not give shalom to a person that I'm not sure that he's a tzaddik. So when I saw you, I didn't know who you were. And maybe you were not who you looked like. So and the pasuk says, "En shalom Omar Hashem la'Hashem," and it's understandable because you cannot associate the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu with the Rishaim. But now that I'm seeing you learning Torah, I know that you are tzaddikim, and therefore I gave you shalom. And that's the inyan. We're not allowed to give shalom to a Rasha. It's brought down in Maseches Derech Eretz that you're not allowed, therefore neither you allowed to say shalom in the showers, because it's asur, it's the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and so forth. And now we have to understand also that when tefillah is working, the Gemara says, Yavohu lefanai be'aguda achas. When is the korbanos? People say korbanos, but it doesn't work. Nah, it doesn't work because you're not b'shalom, you're not be'aguda achas. There's no Abbas Yisrael in you, and therefore you don't have. You don't get the, because you do that only for you. You're not doing this for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's not a korban. A person has to remove every bit of kina and sina if he wants to reach to the next level, or otherwise, Chaz v'Shalom, always going to be in danger of a machlokes. And as we saw, it's a kfira in everything. And Chaz v'Shalom, as the Ari HaKodesh said, is closing down the 380 channels of the Shefa. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.